So we are going to get right into this. I am very, very excited to talk to you guys, not only about generating clarity, but also generating capital to fund your big ideas. And just real quick, if you can, make sure that you can hear me. Can you just let me know in the chat that you guys can hear me okay? Put number 2 or something in there just so I know that you guys are hearing me okay. But yes, I really am passionate, not only about getting our big ideas out there, out of us, first of all, right? We have to get them out of ourselves. Okay, cool. Everybody's hearing me okay. We got to get them out of ourselves and out into the world. And so that is a process, I'm sure, as many of you know. So not only once you get it out there, a lot of times you do need to go that next step and get it funded, get some money. So we're going to dive into this today. I know that you guys have had a lot of good content already about getting clear, and we're definitely going to keep that going. So there's nothing like repetition as we are working to build our, retrain our minds, right? So we're definitely going to touch on that, and then I'm really going to get into some other stuff. So we'll just go ahead and start. And I know I did a little bit of an introduction, but I will jump in here with a little bit more. So hello, I am Marlena Banks. I help multi-passionate entrepreneurs level up their faith, clarity, and influence. And since publishing my book, Big Idea Food, I've helped hundreds of readers and subscribers gain the clarity they've been needing to move their businesses forward. And so now through coaching, consulting, and speaking, I continue to help them shed the mental barriers holding them back and build the influential brands that they were born to create. Yes, Taylor said, oh, I'm multi-passionate. Yes, you are, honey. And so, how did I get here, right? That's always the question. So I gave you guys a little bit of my story for writing the book, but I'm going to go back to even before writing the book because, like I said, been in this game for about 10 years, side hustling, and now I am actually just put in my notice to leave my job. So there's that, but we'll probably talk about that a little later. But how did I get to this point? Really, before I got clear on how I wanted my life to look back in 2014, y'all, so about 5 years ago, I had spent the previous 5 years feeling absolutely stuck, just completely unseen, really unhappy and unfulfilled in my life. I had graduated from college, like I mentioned, in 2009. I was living at home with my mom. I was settling for jobs that were beneath my degree and not charging enough in my graphic design business. And in the process, I was slipping deeper and deeper into debt and just generally making poor decisions that didn't align with the life that I knew God had for me. And so this was a really, really just difficult time, I feel like, in my life because I was just struggling. I was honestly just feeling not confident. I had, after graduating, I had gotten a C on my final project, my final senior project. And I think that really did a lot to damage my confidence. And from there, and obviously with it being 2009, the economy had crashed. And so jobs were just not there. But, I wasn't going for the jobs that even were there because I just really lacked confidence. And so, it wasn't until I really got serious about building and cultivating my faith. I started devouring faith-filled teachings from anointed pastors, really meditating on God's word and speaking it over situations in my life. And that's when I started to see a shift take place. I had actually gone from knowing God loves me to actually believing it. And y'all, that is a major, major difference. Y'all, let me know in the chat if any of you have made that mental shift. If not, I definitely want to help you do that. At some point, we can talk about that. But going from knowing God loves you to actually believing it changes the game. And from there, it was like I could really finally see all the ways that I had been sabotaging myself and sabotaging my life. And so, once I got the clarity of that one little nugget really changed the game for me, like I said, to be able to see what I was doing. And it shined a light on everything. And so once I had that nugget, I was able to go after my dream job and landed it. I actually had paid a career coach helped me get my whole life together and go after the job that I really wanted, which was in advertising. So I landed my dream job in advertising. 3 years later, I actually left to pursue my calling in entrepreneurship. So I actually took a mini jump from my full-time career in advertising to my to working just a job to pay the bills so that I could focus on entrepreneurship full-time, or start to get there. I also started getting paid top dollar for my design services. I, thank the Lord, paid off 70% of my student loan debt, which is a little bit higher now. I'm almost paid off, y'all. So that is coming very, very soon. I bought my condo. I secured a $10,000 angel investment for Big Idea Food. And like I mentioned, it really had been brewing inside me for years. And so getting that angel investment gave me a lot of fuel to go ahead and put this out there. So I finally launched my book. And Gayla said, one time for career coaches. Yes, yes. Listen, honey, got me all the way right. Okay. And so and now, since launching Big Idea Food a year ago now, I have landed numerous speaking gigs, been featured on multiple podcasts, secured my first retail partnership, had my book shared by big name influencers, built a loyal following around the project and around my personal brand. And one of the things that I cherish and love the most is that I made some amazing new friends that I never would have met had I never launched the book. And so just quick word for any of you who are sitting on something that God has given you, you have to put it out there into the world. I'm telling you, you are missing out on so many things that God has for you when you put that thing out there into the world. And there are so many people waiting for you to do it. And so I really appreciate and have learned a lot in that kind of time frame. And so the main thing that I've learned is really faith in God, confidence in yourself, and clarity of purpose are pivotal first steps to building the type of influence that you've been dreaming of having. So in terms of, you know, when we are all multi-passionate, we're all creative, whether you're building a business or building your career, I know there's a level of influence that that you're called to have. And it really does take a level of faith, and that confidence in yourself piece is so, so huge. And just like Larry, I was talking about, clarity of purpose, knowing your why, are huge, 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 huge. So we're definitely going to get into some of these pieces today. And before I do that, so now that you have gotten to learn a little bit about me, I want to learn about you guys. So if you can just drop your name, the city that you live in, and what's your business? I want to get to know you guys and make sure that I am tailoring what I'm talking about to what you guys are working on. So let me know what your business is, or if you are working on a project or a goal, just go ahead and put it in the chat. And so while you guys do that, I'm just going to look at some additional notes here. Okay. And Pumi says, I don't know what's more impactful, the gems you are dropping or the way you are presenting. So calm and composed. Oh, thank you so much. You know, on the inside, I'm like, ah! My friends who know me, this is not, you know, I'm trying to behave tonight. So thank you. I appreciate and receive that. Awesome. So Jessica in Dallas, minimalism coach, helping people simplify their lives. Exciting. Ooh, I like that. I need that. If you could see my house right now, I need that in my life. So while people are putting their what they're working on in the chat, you know, today's presentation is really for you if you have a ton of ideas but don't know where to start. So if you are struggling with getting something off the ground, this is definitely going to be for you. If you're struggling to decide which business to create or which direction to take in your existing business, I know that sometimes you have so many good ideas. It's not even just ideas, but so many amazing ideas that you're just like, okay, how do I decide? I could do all of them, and I would love to do all of them, and they would all make me happy. And so we're definitely going to talk about how to decide which idea to go with, or if you are already in business and you might be caught at a fork in the road, we're going to talk about how to determine which fork to take. So we're also, this is also going to be for you if you know the direction that you want to go, but you are feeling a little bit stuck because you don't have the funds that you know that you need in order to build the vision that you see in the full manifestation of that. So I'm just going to kind of take a look at what everybody else is talking about here in the chat. Yes, Kianda doesn't know which idea to pursue. Terry's in Bermuda, working on building brands, both focused on helping women embrace who they are, self-image, beauty. Oh, love it. Yes, yes, yes. Lulu, career coach. Woo woo. Y'all better holler at her. Fiona, I own a care consulting organization that works with families to help them find care for their aging loved ones. Oh my gosh, that is so needed. So, so needed. So yeah, you guys are working on a multitude of projects. Fabiana, networker, connector, and social media management. Ooh, girl, I might have to holler at you soon. So yeah, it looks like you guys have a little bit of, are all over the place, right? Some people are working on careers. Some people are working on businesses and passion projects as well. So thank you guys so much for sharing that. So today, my goal is to help retrain your mind to think from a place of having clarity versus trying to get it, right? We're done trying to get clarity. All right. We already have it. So we're definitely going to get into that. I am also focused on giving you some practical strategies for deciding which direction to take next. And I want to leave you with a clear game plan for how you can generate the seed capital you need to get your idea off the ground. And after today, my primary goal is to have for you to have the confidence that you need to move your idea forward and some actionable strategies for how to secure the next level of investment you need to move your business or project forward. Woo woo. We're going to get these coins popping. So today is all about clarity and coins. What you're going to learn specifically, we're going to walk through what's holding you back from having clarity and how to take control of it. I am going to share my 7 questions to ask yourself in order to finally decide which direction to take. And really, out of those 7 questions, I have 3 that are like my favorite that help me. So we're going to touch on those and hopefully help a lot of you out there. We'll also talk about how to determine if your idea is investment ready. So once you do have clarity and you've selected that idea or that direction, and you are thinking about moving it forward and needing some funds, we definitely want to look at how we can determine if it's ready for investment. And I'm going to share my quick and dirty framework for pitching an investor. Very, very, very helpful. And then 8 guerrilla tactics for generating seed capital when you're not ready to go the traditional route. And so if you are all about that bootstrapping life, this is definitely going to be for you. All right. So first things first, we're going to talk about clarity. I can't sing. I do apologize, you guys. So, let me know in the chat if clarity is something that you have been struggling with in the past. I'm going to kick this off with just talking about a myth that I really just want to put into the entire trash can tonight. And that myth is clarity is not something I can control. And so, I just want to know, tell me if you ever feel like this sometimes, like clarity is just something that is just out a little bit out of your reach. Like it's something you're just hoping graces you with its presence. But you just really are struggling still to really gain control of it. So let me know in the chat if you are struggling at all with this idea. But what I really want, and I feel like, in myself, going through all these years of being an entrepreneur and struggling myself with having clarity, I've definitely spent a lot of time in that stage of thinking about it, feeling stuck, not knowing which direction to take, and making dumb decisions all along the way because I haven't had clarity. Rowan said, girl, clarity is a nightmare. Listen, okay, clarity is, and again, that I'm going to add that to the myth bucket because clarity can seem like it is this like, I don't know, like it's like when you see those people trying to tame a snake, the cobra or whatever, like it's just like this thing, like you might get it, you might not. I hope I can get it today. Like it is just, I don't appreciate it. So I'm coming against all of this whole talk, I'm coming against clarity being something that thinks it's bigger than us. No, we are bigger than clarity. Clarity is something that we definitely have more power over than we think. And so Renee says the idea is so big. Getting clarity on the present short-term goal and strategy is a struggle often. Definite. And so I want to walk through how to kind of retrain our minds to think about clarity, because again, like I said, clarity being something that we can't control is a huge myth in my mind. And what I've learned is that in truth, clarity is something that we can create. Okay. We can control clarity. You guys, I don't know how many of you are believers and faith people, but, we are created in God's image, and everything that we kind of see here was created by something, whatever you kind of believe. And we're also creative beings, right? So clarity is not something that is out of our reach. It is something that we can create, just like we can create a meal to eat or, other things that we do. Clarity is also something that we can create. And so it's really not this fickle fairy that may or may not grace us with his presence today. And we do not have to feel like we are slaves to, clarity. I feel like a lot of people and that I talk to and, on the interwebs, in my coaching conversations, it just seems like it's something that you just can wait for forever to get. And really, I just want to let you guys know today that you don't have to keep going for long periods of time not having clarity. And you also don't have to accept the fact that you're not clear on where you are and just live with it, right? Again, because clarity is something that we can create. Rowan said, I rebuke confusion. Yes, I love it. And so just to kind of prove this right off the bat, right? So here are 10 things you can do right now to generate clarity. And I really wanted to share these because you might have seen, clarity is something I can create and been like, oh yeah, for real. And I want you to see right here, boom, right here in your face, there's 10 ways that you can actually generate clarity. So number one, praying and spending time in God's word. Again, being a faith person, God's word says that his word is a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path. I can't tell you how many times that I have been reading about something super random in the Bible and literally got a whole just like vision of, whatever step that or strategy that I was needing for something coming up. I wasn't even thinking about the strategy, but I was reading and spending time. And it's just like it peels back. It can really peel back layers in your mind that you don't even realize they're there, and just let your, inner eye see some things that you've been trying to see. And so that's why I put it number one here on my list. If you aren't like a believer or whatever, no worries. I got 9 more ways for you to generate clarity. And the second is going to be speaking clarity affirmations over yourself. Affirmations are huge, especially as L'Oreal mentioned. If you guys were in that chat, I loved how she said affirmations are not by themselves are not going to get you over the hump, right? You really need to take the time to internalize those affirmations. You can't just be speaking them, right? And so there are so many affirmations, and actually my book, Big Idea Food, each chapter is an affirmation, and I highly recommend finding one that really speaks to you and really just meditating on that and spending time and speaking and declaring that over and over. Because when you have like 8,000 affirmations, I feel like they lose their impact. But when you can really be laser focused on one, it really does start to open doors and move barriers in your mind that are holding you back. So 3, brainstorming, right? Writing all those ideas down and just looking at them on paper. Sometimes the very fact of, and I highly recommend when you're brainstorming to write things down. Sometimes the fact of just getting them all out of your head and on the paper helps you a ton, right? Doing research, definitely. We know that once you find some answers on what you're looking for, that research is really going to help you open up some doors and blocks that you've been dealing with. Making a pros and cons list. Huge. That has helped me a lot. Asking your audience what they want from you. If you are in business or developing some sort of creative project and you have an audience, sometimes you are caught between two decisions. And if you just put it out there and ask people what they think, hey guys, what do you think about these ideas? Or hey, what do you think about what I should do next? They will tell you, and they will let you know things that you didn't even have on your radar. So I love, love, love using that as a way to get clarity. Joining a mastermind. So I'm going to shout out Taylor Mills with Make Moves. I am in her mastermind. I know Lene is as well. And it is just phenomenal being around other women who are going after their goals. And yes, Lene said I'm in the mastermind too. Yes, being around these women, having scheduled times to meet and talk about what you're working on and having that homework and those people holding you accountable, huge. Accountability. Hopefully you guys saw Taylor Mills's masterclass as well, talking about accountability and the power of it. Accountability is so, so, so huge for not only once you get that clarity, but also giving you the next steps to execute that idea. Yes, she said this summit would not be possible without Taylor in the mastermind. Amen, amen. So getting a coach is another way to get clarity. Of course, commit to a hard, real deadline. And then sometimes take a break, right? You've been working on something for too long. You're too close to it. You need to take a break. So I wanted to share these very, very quickly because these are some very fast things you can do right now to generate clarity. Again, we believe that we can create clarity. It's not something we can't control. It's something we can create. Okay. And so, now that we know that we can create clarity and, again, we've had a lot of speakers touching on ways to get clarity. And so I really wanted to get to some of the root and the mindset issues related to not having it today. And so the root of clarity struggles, and if you guys want to guess, put it in the chat and let me know what you guys think I'm going to say is the root of clarity struggles. Because, clarity, definitely not having clarity comes from somewhere, right? It's a struggle because of something. And what I've learned over these years is that really the root of it is fear, right? Fear is the main culprit, can be the main culprit in a lot of cases. And so I really want to talk about some ways to sort of get through the fear factor that is holding us back from having clarity today. And so we're going to talk about some of the specific fears that are holding us back. So there's fear that's keeping you from believing and accepting how dope you are. Right. So, sometimes it's hard when you realize like, yo, I am so dope. And what does that mean for the world and humanity at large? Like when it hits you, how dope you are, sometimes it can be very scary and it can be hard to believe. And that can be a fear because those ideas that come, they can be huge and they could be amazing. And they're going to change lives. But again, it can be scary to sort of accept that. So that's one of the fears that I think we tackle or deal with sometimes. Another fear that's keeping you from, getting through clarity is going to be the fear that's keeping you from deciding to act on that belief, right? To act on the fact that you are dope and you need to put what you're doing out there in the world, right? That is very, very key. And you need to be able to remember that not only do you need to know and believe that you're dope, but you need to accept it and act on that belief, right? So the third fear that is holding us back is fear of the unknown. So where am I going to land, right? I could do this, but what's going to happen if? And don't be multi-passionate and super analytical. Because I'm one of those like very, very analytical brains. I'm always kind of 18 steps ahead trying to think of something. And when you have that along with 16 different passions inside of you, multiply your passions times the 18 steps ahead for each passion. And you can just be a whole hot mess because you don't really know where you're going to land. And that can be a very, very major factor in keeping you from moving your idea forward. And the last fear that I want to touch on is fear of permanence, right? So what if I do this and I don't like it? What then? What if I do this and it fails? It's over. Like this is just the end of everything. I tried it and I failed. Yes, Fiona says the unknown thing is paralyzing. Yes, it really is. And so is that fear of permanence. What is going to happen? I'll be married to it forever. I'll be stuck with it. And you guys, I know that even as we're talking right now, I know you guys already know that these are all lies, right? Not true. Okay. And so I want to share some quick mindset hacks that have helped me over the years and that I talk about in my book that have really helped me think from another perspective in terms of some of these fears. Um, First, the fact that somebody needs my dopeness, right? When you're sitting there struggling with the fact that you can't even accept the fact that you're dope and just let yourself be the dope entity that you are, that is a struggle. And you need to remember that your dopeness isn't for you, it's for others. Y'all, this idea helped me so much. And it really took me launching the book to realize it, because when I saw all the people that told me in my DMs, on my Amazon reviews or whatever, that, I have been waiting for a book like this. I have been needing something like this. And, when I look at all the friends and things that I've made through this book, if I hadn't done it, there would be so many people right now that would still be stuck, still be struggling, and just, needing this content from me. And so you need to remember, when you're sitting here not trying to believe in your dopeness, no, God didn't give you this dopeness just to keep it to yourself. You need to accept the fact that you're amazing and talented and have the potential within yourself to affect the lives of many people in a meaningful way. And nobody is being helped by your shrinking back and not letting your entire whole light shine. Okay. You have to lean into it and stop being afraid to own it. And just remember that your dopeness is going to open up the door for somebody else to let theirs out too. And so, that really helped me to get into the mindset of, sometimes it helps us, I think, to think about others when we're trying to make decisions. And when you pull yourself, step back from the equation, right? Pull yourself out of it and remember that you are here for somebody else, to help somebody else. That can help push you forward in ways that just staying stuck in your own personal mentality cannot. And so that is the first mindset hack that has helped me along the way. The next one is going to be, if I research it, clarity will come. So investing in knowledge of your business will get you clearer by default, right? When you spend time researching, Googling, talking to people, whatever it is, and of course, giving yourself a timeline, right? We're not going to sit here and research until, the cows come home, right? We are going to research for a short period of time and make a decision based on that research. But I can't tell you how many times, especially being a person of faith, I really spent a lot of time feeling like I have to wait for God to give me a word or a sign or something before I can actually move or make a step. And, if I don't hear from him, then I just have to sit here and wait. And God really shut that down, and he hit me with this scripture here in Proverbs, which is basically saying, in all you're getting, get understanding. And it also says to get wisdom. Wisdom is going to make so many things clear for you. So do the research that you need to do in order to get clarity. A lot of times you might be caught between two business ideas. And once you do research and find out, okay, this is what it takes to run this business, or this is the level of investment I need, or these are the kind of people I'm going to have to work with on a regular basis if I do this, just by doing that small bit of research alone, you get so much clarity. And so research is very, very huge in order to just knock all those doubts out of the way. That verse is engraved in my grad wing. That is so, so good. And so the third mindset hack is, I'm done waiting, right? We need to get ourselves out of that waiting mindset and into a doing mindset. Clarity comes in the doing, not in the thinking, not in the planning. When you make a step, that's when clarity comes, right? That has been very, very huge for me. Oh my gosh, even of late, the fact that we can just make a step, and when we make a step, we get more understanding. We make another step, more understanding comes. But when you don't make a step, you stay lost. So you have to move. You have to go make, and Taylor always says this in the Mastermind too. If you do something now, you can change it later, right? And so that takes me really to the final mindset hack, which is I do not have to marry my next decision. Y'all, we have to remember that marrying your decision is not even a part of any of this, right? You can always pivot. You can always pivot. You are not stuck with whatever decision you make. And so the, fear of permanence of our decisions can be so, so huge and paralyzing our minds. But if the idea that you're thinking about doing doesn't work out, that's okay. Just move on, do something else, change it, iterate. That is the whole process of designing and creating something. Is you put something out there and you test it, you learn, and you adjust, right? Yes, doing it actually makes you aware of the next step. Yes. Okay. So, so true. Thanks for the reminder going on my vision board with the proverb verse. Yes, Rowan. Okay. So just want to reiterate, any step in any direction, honestly, even if it's the wrong one, is going to lead you to more clarity. You just have to make a move, right? And this is something that has resonated with me for so long now, is that God cannot order your steps if you are not taking them, period. Okay. Just let that sink in. Like, yes, the Bible says God will order your steps, but if you're not moving, he doesn't even have steps to order. Okay. You just don't be stuck there. Him stuck there waiting on you, right? You're not waiting on him. He's waiting on you. So we're going to remember to take our steps. I wanted to give you guys some affirmations for kind of each of the sections that we're going to go through today. So these 3 affirmations are good. Hopefully you can find one of these that really speaks to you. And kind of use it and keep that, right? Oh, y'all, it's a word, bloop. I love y'all. Listen, okay? We do not have time to be sitting here waiting on God, okay? So affirmations: God will order my steps. I'm creating 1% more clarity for myself today. I love the concept of 1%. Oh, it just has done so much for me. So hopefully that helps you guys. And then I have a pivot ready mindset. Okay. We are not trees. We can move, we can grow, we can keep it going. Right. All right. And so look at this beautiful Black woman. I want to real quick touch on some ways to determine which direction to go if you're struggling with that. And so this beautiful Black woman, by the way, she's at a fork in the road. I don't know if there's any graphic designers in the chat, but if you look for fork in the road, stock photography, it is so abysmal that I just can't. So I just found this beautiful woman of color to talk through being at a fork in the road. But if any of you guys are at a fork in the road, let me know in the chat. And, if you are really struggling to sort of determine where you need to go from here. But, now that we've retrained our minds to think from being, to not having clarity to actually having clarity and being in control of it, I did want to share you some of the ways that I decide which direction to take and the ways and questions that have helped me make a decision. Because again, we can be so, so creative and have so many good ideas that can be very, very difficult to decide, especially because we want to do everything, right? Like, I just want to do everything in my entire world. And is that okay? And so definitely let me know in the chat if you need help sort of narrowing down your next idea. Yes, yes, yes. Boomy said we can start taking collection. Y'all are cracking me up. All right. So my 7 questions to help you decide what to do next. All right. Number 1, what can I start right now with what I already have? All right. Huge. Again, like I mentioned earlier, talking about starting this book, I was all thinking about all this other startup things that I wanted to do and like these Silicon Valley ideas and big lofty ideas. And God was like, hold up. What can you start right now? What do you have in your hand right now that you can work with? And that was huge for me because it really forced me to think through like, okay, these are the things I can actually work with right now. And I can't even do like, if I need 8 things in order to launch that idea, then, maybe it's not something I need to launch right now. So question number 1, huge for me. Number 2, what am I uniquely and divinely gifted to do? Again, me being a teacher for so long, being uniquely and divinely gifted to break down spiritual truths and make them relevant to, people that are in my age group, younger people. That is something that I knew I was uniquely and divinely gifted to do. And that your unique and divine gifting can really be a huge part of what God has for you to do in this world. And so maybe there's something, one of those ideas is really tied to that gifting. And so you definitely can look at what those talents are that you have, do those spiritual, gift assessments, or, whatever strength, weakness analyses that you can do to determine what those giftings are. And maybe one of those ideas aligns well with that, because if you're uniquely and divinely gifted to do something, it's going to flow naturally and people are going to gravitate to you because it's what you're here to do, right? So Janelle says, I get shiny object syndrome with my ideas. Like, oh, what about this one too? And oh, that. Yes, yes, yes. All right. So number 3, what do I have experience doing with success? Have you created results for anybody? Is there something that you're really good at with doing with your eyes closed? Number 4, which idea has the most potential for impact? Absolutely. Again, thinking outside of yourself, but who am I helping and how many people can I help with this idea? You know what I'm saying? Can I help more than just 10 people? And that might be where you need to go. Number 5, and I'm actually going to kind of transition here to my next slide because, my top 3 are highlighted. So number 1, what can I start right now with what I already have? But number 5, y'all, this got me. All right. Which idea would I be pissed off the most about if someone else did it because I know this idea is mine? Y'all, when I tell you, okay, when I saw that there wasn't another devotional out there like Big Idea Food, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is me. And it really just eclipsed every other idea that I had on the table at the time of deciding whether or not to write the book. Like, I realized that if somebody else did this, I would be so upset. Like I wouldn't even be able to handle it. So that right there let me know, like, you know what, this has to be it. This is the thing that I need to step out on. Number 6, which idea excites me the most? Again, which am I going to enjoy the most, right? You're here to enjoy your life, all right, while making a difference in other people's lives. And so what's going to get you the most excited? But number 7, and, I'm sure you guys have all heard somebody say, or pastors say, like, the grave is the richest place in the world, right? Because it is where so many amazing world-changing ideas have gone to die with the people that held them. And so number 7, which one am I not willing to die without putting out into the world? So pivotal. Hopefully that helps you guys. Another pro tip real quick before we get into funding, and I'm going to go through this quickly because I know my time is running short. But breaking your idea down into phases, right? A lot of you guys are saying number 5 is getting your whole entire life. Yes, y'all, I'm telling you, that got me all the way together. So breaking your big idea down into phases, right? 1.0, 2.0, 5.0. Huge. Sometimes you can have a bajillion ideas, but really they are all connected. And you just need to figure out what to work on now, right? So definitely having that 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, or however many phases that it is. With phase 1 is that one thing that you can start right now, right? You have all of the tools and equipment that you need to start this thing right now. So that's phase 1. So sometimes if you just write down all your ideas and sort of mind map them right, and you just say, you know what, this idea is for phase 1, right? I can start this right now. So these ideas go in the phase 1 bucket. Phase 2, ideas that you can execute once you have some additional resources and growth. And then phase 3 is the ultimate manifestation of the vision. So if you have ideas, and a lot of times, like I had ideas for a podcast and, a YouTube channel and all these things coming down the pipeline for Big Idea Food. And so, yeah, I'll actually show you guys my example. But I had to know, this is what I can do right now, right? So in the ultimate manifestation of what I see for Big Idea Food right now, because I'm keeping a pivot ready mindset, right? But the ultimate manifestation of Big Idea Food is a media company. Like I see a really dope media company that's putting out amazing faith-based content into this world. And, that's, who knows how far away that is. It could be really close, who knows? But that's phase 4, right? But phase 1 was writing the first book. Writing that weekly devotional, which I did, and putting content out into the world. Phase 2 is I'm actually going to be creating a 365-day version of the book. And so I'm going to be featuring more people's stories of how God is helping them in their businesses. So y'all look out for that. That's also coming with the podcast as well. And so that's my phase 2. Phase 3, YouTube channel, and y'all can see how that kind of ladders on up to a media company. So definitely use the phase option when you are mapping out your ideas. All right. And just remember, this was just a reminder just to show y'all the very first iPhone, which gross. And let me know y'all team iPhone or team Android in the chat. Any of y'all team Androids, we definitely gonna pray for y'all after the service. So it's totally fine. Yes, Lene, team iPhone. All right. So now we're gonna get into the coins. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So now that we've gotten a lot of clarity around, how to really retrain our mindsets to have that we have clarity, that we're not trying to get it, we have it, we can create it. Jessica, team Android. That's okay. I'm putting my hands out right now. Fiona, Android all the way. That's okay, y'all. We know y'all gonna get delivered. It's fine. So yeah, if you are, whether you needed that clarity or if you're already clear and you just need to kind of get to the next step of getting your idea funded, this part is for you. So real quick, last year I did, like I mentioned, I raised about $10,000 from an angel investor to get Big Idea Food off the ground. Full disclosure, that investor was my mommy. So here is my mommy. Is she beautiful, y'all? Don't you love her? Yes. But yeah, anybody who knows my mom knows she does not play about her coins. Okay. She does not let go of none of them for no foolishness. So it was very, very huge to raise that capital from her, and to get me all of the things that I need to sort of, get Big Idea Food going. And so what else qualifies me to speak on this? Primarily, I'm a boss at selling. All right. I'm just going to put it out there. I have been selling for a very long time. How many of y'all remember these friendship bracelets? Let me know in the chat. Back in elementary school, I used to kill it with these. Definitely sharing those a lot and, trying to get paid off of these. Now, I say that I was selling them, but I was really making them and telling people, and people telling me they was going to buy them, but then never buying them. But that's okay. I learned and grew my business in other ways. Also, I don't know if y'all ever had the fundraisers for school, but back in the day, I used to kill it on these as well. Definitely out there at my neighbor's doors, like not get this fudge and this Christmas gift wrap paper and all of that. So I've definitely been selling for a very long time. I think it's just part of who I am. My mom is also a businesswoman. And so just, sales, I think, runs through my veins. And, some other things that kind of qualify me to speak on this is just the fact that I did get my degree in interior design. Interior design is all about presentation and creating spaces that speak to and generate, interest and delight and all of those things. So learning how to present things to clients is really what my bread and butter was in terms of my degree. In the process, I definitely learned how to sell things visually by my passion in graphic design, started that graphic design business and continued to hone my design and selling skills. And, as a result of all of that, I've successfully sold premium price design services for years and helped dozens of clients sell their products and services by curating great copy and aesthetics for their brands. And so in addition to that, I sold the top ad agency in my city on hiring me when I had zero advertising experience. Sold a lot of copies of my book during its pre-sale. Very, very proud of selling 200 copies when usually about 100 is a good pre-sale. So I was really thankful for that happening. And then also, y'all, I've watched countless hours of Shark Tank. So that pretty much qualifies me as an expert, right? Anybody else love Shark Tank like me? My favorite show. So being a boss at selling, and I bring that up because what I've come to learn is that pitching an investor really is sales, right? And, I say investor in quotes because your investor might be a potential client, or it might be someone you want to collaborate with, or someone that you want to give you actual money, right? So your investor depends on what you're actually working on. Maybe your investor is that employer that you're trying to get that raise from, right? So selling is really the way to capture their buy-in. And the same methods that work on selling your products and services to clients are roughly the same methods that you need to use in order to sell an investor. So know your audience, AKA your investor, is huge. Knowing your brand, you have to know who you are and what you're about as a brand. And then you have to know your competition and what sets you apart from them. You have to know the pain points or opportunity points in terms of getting an investor that your business solves for that investor. And you have to know the value of your business and what they're realistically able and willing to pay for. And you need to know how much it's going to cost them if they don't invest in your business or invest in collaborating you or whatever the case may be. You also have to be able to communicate all of this in an engaging way that wins their trust and their buy-in. So today I'm really not talking about business plans. I'm talking about the art of selling. All right. How do you bring investors into your idea, and what elements make up a good investment worthy story? And so I wanted to give y'all a quick quote from Shark Tank that I really enjoyed. And it is from Barbara Corcoran, which I don't love her that much, but I really enjoy this quote. She cool. I mean, I don't hate her or nothing. She's no Mr. Wonderful. But anyway, the best thing that I heard from you, other than your phenomenal charisma, is the story of you growing up. Because if I were to go through every one of my top businesses, every one of them is headed by an entrepreneur that came through hell and back. Y'all, this quote spoke to me for some reason. Sidebar, any of y'all been through hell and back? Let me know in the chat. Whoo, we could have a whole nother summit to talk about some of the stories, I'm sure. But I love this quote, and I really love this part of the quote, is because she really talks about how huge story is when you are pitching an investor. So, you know, when you're trying to sell an idea, creating that story is really the way to do it. And again, many of you are coaches, designers, people who are in the business of selling ideas. And so, you know, story comes into play just like that when you are pitching investors, right? So story is how people really connect with your idea, and it's how you build trust and showcase why you are the best person for the job. So what elements make up a good investment worthy story, guys? I'm cracking up at this chat. Rowan said, I don't eat the fruit. That was Eve's mistake. Woo, y'all are hilarious. So here's another quote from our friend, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. And this is where he, you know, Business Insider asked him, what are the 3 essential elements of a great Shark Tank pitch? And so number 1, they're able to articulate the opportunity in 90 seconds or less. 2, they're able to explain why they're the right person to execute the business plan. And 3, they know their numbers. And how I break that all down basically is, number 1, they have clarity, right? Number 2, they have expertise. And number 3, they got them facts. So just to sort of give you guys my quick and dirty investment pitch framework, that basically entails those 3 principles, right? You need to have clarity first and foremost. That's why clarity is so huge. Clarity is tied to everything that you want to do in business, in career, whatever it is. You need to know what you're doing, where you're going, what you're working on, right? So in terms of clarity, when it comes to pitching our investors, you need to be able to articulate simply but potently what the opportunity is and why they need to invest in what you're doing, right? If you can't say it in, you know, a sentence or in 90 seconds, like Mr. Wonderful said, you still lack some clarity that is really going to be the key factor in turning their mind toward what you're doing, right? And convincing them that it makes sense for them to work with you. So the first step in getting that funding from an investor is having that simplicity of mission and vision in terms of what you're doing. Next, you need to have that innovation factor. What about your business is innovative? What makes it unique? Why is your business relevant or interesting? Again, having that clarity of thought and understanding why the world needs what you're doing and what you're putting out into the world is going to be pivotal in converting that investor. Also, I put delight the investor in here because I think a very large part of getting investment is going to be delighting that investor. How is the investor going to find fulfillment in what you're doing, right? So like anybody who watches Shark Tank, you know that, you know, Mark Cuban is a sports guy, right? So anything that's related to sports or like things that, you know, white men in sports like, you know what I'm saying? he's going to be interested in. And so what can your idea bring to the table that, you know, yes, you're going to bring them millions of dollars, right? Or however many dollars it is, but what kind of joy are you going to bring them with this business? What kind of delight are they going to get out of investing in your project and working on that? So definitely being able to communicate that is going to be huge while you're developing your story. The next part that we're touching on here of the framework is expertise. Why you? Why should I invest in you, and why are you the best person for this job? And I put motive here because that a lot of times goes into the why, right? So maybe, again, like you're an entrepreneur that has been through hell and back, and you have all kinds of pain that you're putting into that into the story that investor can relate with and know that you're serious about this, right? And so being able to communicate your motive. So either your motive is one of three areas, right? There's that pain, right? The been through hell and back, or you're just very skilled in this area. You have a lot of experience, you have a lot of results, whatever the case may be, you have true hardcore, hard facts of expertise in what you're doing. Or three, you're passionate about it, right? Maybe it's a passion project and there's a bunch of other people who are just as passionate about this thing as you are. And there's enough that it makes it worthy to invest in. And then the third part of our expertise piece is going to be that personal investment. And y'all, I will say, in terms of convincing my mom to invest her very hard-earned money, it really helped me. And I saw her eyes light up when she saw in my presentation to her, because I had to do a presentation, y'all. This wasn't like, hey, mom, can I have $10,000? No, we had a meeting set. I had slides, I had numbers, I had everything, right? But I think the biggest thing that really convinced her or pushed her forward was definitely the me having that personal investment. I was like, this is the skin in the game that I'm willing to do. And so showing that investor what you are already investing or already putting into it. So I know I'm getting short on time, so I'm going to kind of go through this a lot faster here. The third thing is the facts. And I said I'm not going to talk about business plan, but I really want to make sure that you actually know the actual line items that you need, right? A lot of times you think you need all this money, but if you sit down to actually write out the specific line items that you need. I knew I needed to get trademark. I knew I needed to get a website design, like writing out those line items and seeing like down to the cents what money you need is huge for you to not only see, but also your investor needs to know that you've done your research to know what you actually need and why you're seeking that investment. And then obviously the return on investment and how quickly that's going to happen, and then a full business plan around it. And so quick test for determining if your idea is investment ready. Shout out to my girl, Miss Penix, aka Tanisha Penix, my photographer for this beautiful photo. I'm a Leo, y'all, so I had to put a photo of myself in here. But quick test for is your idea investment ready? One, is there real demand for it? Do more than 10 people, do more than 100 people, do more than 1,000 people, want what you're creating? Number two, can it deliver at least a 15% return on investment? And three, have you invested in your idea yourself? How is anybody going to invest in an idea that you're not even willing to invest in? And again, when you're developing that story, you need to be able to communicate what you've done already to invest in that idea and what you're planning to continue to invest. Now, if you do not have these pieces in place, that's okay. There's possibility for getting it there, right? What revenue streams have you done? Hey, Lulu, she a Leo too. Hey, girl. What revenue streams have you not identified yet? Maybe there's some additional elements that you can bring to the table that can get your idea to a place where there is going to be significant money coming through the pipeline. Or maybe it's a passion project that adds value to people. So maybe it's not going to make money, but maybe it's going to make people, right? You're going to bring a lot of people into the fold, and then you can get sponsorships and things like that. So maybe there's another way to go about it instead of a standard business model. And so once you determine whether or not your idea is investment ready, you can really start to tell which route makes sense for your business. And, is that traditional venture capital and loans, or is it bootstrapping? And so let me know in the chat what you're thinking in terms of venture capital or bootstrapping. I am curious to see what you guys want to do in terms of your personal ideas. And then, but, for those of you who aren't ready or who just plain don't want to go the VC route, I will let you know personally, I fight against going the VC route. It's going to take my business to get to a couple levels before I actually want to consider that, honestly. So I'm definitely team bootstrap myself. So, I wanted to give you guys some guerrilla tactics for generating capital for your big idea. And the first thing really is going to be family and friends, right? I went to my mom. Oh, Pumi said, what's bootstrapping? So bootstrapping is basically when you do not go and get outside investment for your business or what you're bringing to the table. You use your existing resources or a small pool of, personal resources in order to execute your business, right? So bootstrapping is great. Like if any of you guys who have just started a coaching business or a service business or whatever and did not ask for money or get a loan, you're bootstrapping. Okay, yeah, Fabiana said not ready yet. And so family and friends are huge. I want to remind everybody to remember this part of the process. Your family and friends, maybe you don't have a rich uncle or something like that, but you might be able to pull together some funds from your family and friends who believe enough in you to invest in your idea. So don't feel bad about asking for help. Number 2, your job income. Y'all, keep the 9-to-5 helps, right? So definitely using that 9-to-5 to fund your idea. 3, coaching and services. So maybe you have an idea similar to me, like you want to develop a media company ultimately, but there are things that you can do in the meantime with your other talents and expertise in order to fund that passion project that you have. And so whether it's coaching or services or some other skill that you're able to put into play and generate income from in order to get the money you need to build your ultimate vision. 4, doing a summit or webinar like this, right? And selling that replay. Y'all, the work to pull this together is huge. Shout out to Lene again for pulling all this together. But if you have an expertise and you have an audience already, pulling together speakers and selling the replay of a summit or an event can be huge in terms of generating some seed capital for what you're trying to do next. Tapping your local network, your local SBA or Chamber of Commerce in your area. Always have resources for angel investors who are near in the area who might be interested in investing in your idea. So getting tapped into those networks and networking can also be a way to get connected with people who will be willing to invest in what you're doing. Doing those pitch competitions and accelerators. Crowdfunding, also number 7, is a wonderful, wonderful way to do it. I love Kickstarter. I don't know if any of you guys, hopefully you guys are familiar with Kickstarter. Let me know if you're not. Seed and Spark is something that I just recently found out about. It's like a Kickstarter, but it's specifically for those who are building like films, like who develop films and things like that. So again, it can be a way to generate income for your creative project. Number 8, any membership platforms. Mighty Networks is dope. Patreon is another one that is really dope in a way for you to build a membership community around what you're doing and then charge people for for access to that community. And again, bringing money into the table for you. All right. I did want to put y'all on also to this before I kind of wrap things up. New Voices Fund is super dope. It actually launches this summer. It's founded by Sundial Brands, which is the owner of Shea Moisture. And so Rich Lou Dennis is spearheading this initiative, which is basically a $100 million fund created to empower women of color entrepreneurs to reach their full potential. They are accepting applications right now. And y'all, I know most of us here are WOCs, and so definitely reach out to them if you are ready to seek some different types of investment. They're actually, while they are offering venture capital, they're also offering grants and mission-related investments. So even if, again, you're not ready for that major and VC investment level, you might be a candidate for some of their grants or mission-related investments. And y'all, there are a bunch of these out there, so I definitely encourage you to do your research to find some that might work for what you're working on. So, final thought here is to just be about that action, right? Use the resources you already have to create the resources and opportunities that your business needs. And some affirmations here. God has given me the ability to create wealth. All right. Those are y'all Bible folks, Deuteronomy 8:18. I will use what I have to create what I need, and I can be trusted to steward wealth wisely. And so, y'all, I know I went through these slides really quickly. And how y'all doing, let me know in the chat. But I'm definitely going to make sure that you guys have access to these slides later on, and you can always connect with me offline to talk further. But hopefully you did get some actionable strategies on how you can put into practice and generate the clarity and capital that you need to get your big ideas funded. I really just want to remind you guys that you are the ones in control of your business outcomes. You're not at the mercy of anything but your own drive and ambition to execute the work that you have been created to do. And so now I just want you to take a minute and close your eyes. Imagine that your passion project, the project that you've been dreaming of getting off the ground, or the one that you're ready to take to the next level, is operating in its full manifestation, right? The 10.0 version. That's what taking control of clarity and going after the dollars that are out there for your idea can do for you. All right. Ooh, my screen just got really big. All right, guys. So a couple action items. Again, let me know in the chat what you're going to do today. Either you're going to commit to getting 1% more clarity by doing something. Maybe it's one of the things on the list that I gave you, or it's something else that you got a sense from the talk today. So let me know in the chat or DM me. Also, or maybe you're saying I'm going to do X in order to get my big idea funded. So definitely want to know what you guys are doing.